Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called The Aspern Papers. And I already said it wrong. It's the Aspern Papers. The Aspern Papers. Set in Venice in the late 19th century and based on Henry James's eponymous novella, The Aspern Papers is a story of obsession, grandeur lost, and dreams of Byronic adventures. Ambitious editor Morton Vint is fascinated by the romantic poet Geoffrey Aspern and by his icon's short and wildly romantic life. Having traveled from America to Venice, he is determined to get his hands on the letters Aspern wrote to his beautiful lover and muse, Juliana Boudreau. This is a 2019 film. It is rated R. It runs, oh, yeah, 90 minutes, hour and a half. And it stars the three people on the front cover: Jonathan Rhys Meyers, Vanessa Redgrave, who's awesome, and Jolie Richardson. The Aspern Papers. Well, obviously, I have no idea how this movie came on my list, but it did. Was a delight to see Miss Redgrave in a movie. I like, iconic figures in the acting world. It's nice to see a movie where somebody knows how to act. And this was a delight at the beginning to be able to, be exposed to some really fantastic acting. Totally fantastic. So that's about as far as we get with this movie. Again, the movie is about some guy infiltrating two ladies' home after their man of the house has died, seeking out a story of these papers that were written between the man and the wife of the house. And so that's the storyline, and there's nothing else to it. The whole movie is all about that. And if you want to see something that is set in an older time, has one point, and it's a little interesting along the way, then go for it. All right, review over. No, that's really all we have to work with here, and it's kind of crazy. So along the way, Jonathan and Jolie, their characters, you figure something would happen between them, and nothing ever does, so that's disappointing. You figured Jonathan and Miss Redgrave's characters would have more conversation, and they really don't. And the conversation that they have is so, like, swept under the rug. Like they're talking two-faced to each other the whole time when they could just get to the point, literally. And Jonathan's putting on this whole facade of trying to be interested in just renting the home and wanting to work on the garden, and all he wants is these papers. It's like, okay, we have to watch 90 minutes to have you get to the point. And so this kind of turns into a situation of Cruel Intentions or something, where it's an experiment because Jonathan keeps running back to, I guess, his home or another house with where he's friends with everybody, but it's all these women. And it's really weird. Like, I don't know why they put that element into this movie, but it's all about high society and, being experimental of their time, wanting to play around with what to do and stuff. And it's really weird, though. It's a weird element to the movie. And so they do have a couple other things along the way that are interesting. It's not just people talking the whole time. They show Miss Redgrave going into kind of a shock situation and everything, and that's almost like haunted looking, and it's kind of almost special effects almost. But so I mean, they do have some different elements to this movie. They're just weird or awkward, and you just wish they would get to the point. So As far as the big twist of the movie, if you want to call it that, um, this guy Aspern, he led a very kind of free and open love life. And it shows hints of that throughout the movie. And the whole point of the movie is for Jonathan's character to find these papers. You know, that's why the movie exists. And Jolie's character ends up burning them at the end. So it's like, why did this movie exist? You know, like, what's the point of it? Why couldn't she just give it to him if it's not that big a story and everything? And the situation surrounding the ending, I won't give away. But it's like, why won't you just give Jonathan the papers? That's why this movie was made, you know? So it's really disappointing the whole time as far as storyline goes, which there was really none. And what they had to work with, they were doing pretty well because they're all good actors, but they just couldn't figure it out how to have this make some kind of sense because it's set in such an olden time. And nowadays, you know, our answer to the end of the movie is just give them the papers, and they don't do that. And so it's a really awkward ending, and they just kind of drift away into the black. So, as good as the acting is, and I will always say that Vanessa Redgrave is a great, prolific actor. I'm glad to see her and everything. This movie just does not make much sense. It's very boring. It's very slow. It's a lot of talking. Jonathan's voice actually kind of gets on your nerves because he's just talking like a computer, like a robot. You know, he has all these lines, and it seems so rehearsed. You know, because you have to act like your olden times high society. It just seems way too stiff, and I could add some more character to his personality. And honestly, Jolie's doesn't have any personality at all because she's stuck up in this mansion and stuff, and it explores that fact. And so I just think it was a really awkward movie. So I'm gonna give the Aspern paper my lowest grade of a D, but it's worth a watch. I'll be fair to it. It's interesting enough to keep your attention if you like movies like this. That it has a point. It just gets there in a weird way, and then it has a little twist, and then that's it, you know. And it's a very awkward ending, so it's just very dry, you know. Not many people will like this movie, but I know there are people out there that really enjoy this type of cinema, this type of movie. So I could suggest watching it. It just depends on what your type is. So a D for the Aspern Papers. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And as always, enjoy your movies. Thanks.